The Mose Knows podcast, hosted by Cory Mose, greatly appreciates you for tuning into this week's episode. Enjoy.
Good morning.
And good evening, beautiful people. Week 1 of college football is upon us. Lord have mercy, Dion. Football is back, baby. How we feeling?
It's the best time of the year, man. It's the best, second best time, right behind basketball season.
Oh, here you go. Now you count. We're going to cut that off real quick. We're going to cut that off real quick. Week 1 matchups, baby. Georgia versus Clemson is coming to us. A&M versus Notre Dame. That's what I can't wait to watch. New head coach for A&M, Mike Elko, is going against his former quarterback, Riley Leonard, who is now at Notre Dame. That's going to be a sight to see down in College Station. Then Coach Prime is not taking questions from CBS, but he is going to be playing against North Dakota State in prime time. Will he be able to answer all the questions about his team? Is their offensive line? Are they better? Did they get these transfer guys ready and up to speed in time? We'll find out on Saturday, because North Dakota State ain't no slouches at all. Then, of course, down the street in San Marcos, Texas State is going against Lamar. First time being able to see the Sun Belt Player of the Year. Jordan McLeod played quarterback for the Bobcats. Can't wait to see that. But then also, we got some Sunday night football as well, but it's not NFL. It's still college. USC versus LSU in Sin City. Man, oh man, the new regime after Caleb Williams leaves USC. Does Lincoln Riley have his answer at quarterback? Is LSU any better without Jaden Daniels? Rumors say that they are. People say that they are, but I got to see it with my own eyes. And guess what I get to see with my own eyes on Saturday, though, Dion? Woo! We already know. All eyes will be at Texas when they take on Colorado State, 32-point favorites, and we're going to be celebrating the 100-year anniversary of DKR Stadium. They're going to also be celebrating Olympians coming to the field throughout the day, as they will be celebrating everything that they've accomplished over in Paris this summer. So a lot of things happening in the football realm for week 1. I can't wait, Dion. But as always, as we start this pod, I heard you were able to shoot a couple things throughout your week. Heard you were able to talk to your pops this week as well. I know that's not always a usual occurrence. And so, man, how was your week leading up to week 1 of college football?
Man, it's been a little interesting since the last time we shot. So yeah, like you said, this past weekend I went to Waco, shot my barber, when I used to have hair. Really great guy. Did a little promo video for him, and then I also got to speak with my father. If you don't know, I'm Panamanian. My dad lives in Panama, so we had a good little convo about me going out there in October. So super excited for that trip. And I also got to play 9 rounds of golf. So,
wow, you was out there on the links?
Yeah. I guess as you get older as a man, that's just a thing that you have to do and pick up.
No, facts though.
So, of course I'm trash. Golf is a game that humbles you. No matter how good of an athlete you think you are, you get the what is it? The iron in your hand.
Mm-hmm. Look at you. You know what you're talking
about. You look trash, man. It humbles you so quickly. I can see how Charles Barkley and his golf swing looks so bad. No matter how good you think you are as an athlete, golf will humble you. So yeah, that was kind of my last things I've done since we last shot. What about you, Cory?
Yeah, before I move on to what I did, you spoke about athletes looking trash on the golf course. You should have seen some videos with the Texas football team. They went to Topgolf for a little team bonding.
Saw a couple of
Bro. Jaden Blue, I'm looking at you, dog.
Man.
That boy missed the ball, but he threw the club. the club threw up in the stand. My boy swung hard.
Yeah, maybe he don't know how it works.
Hey, but respect. I was able to talk to him at the pressers this week, and he was like, "Yeah, I got some work to do." But he did say that was a one swing that was bad, according to him. Right? According to him, he said that was a one swing that was bad. He was able to get a couple off.
It's always the one that you get on film. That's the
yeah, I got to see it to believe it. But yeah, my week was good, bro. I missed the theatrics of week 0, though, with FSU, Florida State losing to Georgia Tech. I didn't see any of the games because I was at my men's retreat with my church out in Giddings, Texas, at this camp resort called Tejas. And so, it was great, though. Was able to connect with the Lord. Was able to connect with some guys that have more wisdom in the church, I guess I should say. And it was just dope being able to build those relationships over the weekend. But also, man, can you believe that, like, It's finally upon us, Dion. Week 1 of college football. Everyone's excited to place their bets, place their parlays. The over-under for Texas and Colorado State is 60, correct, D?
60.5, man.
60.5. 60 and a half. Are you going over or under?
I think I'm gonna rock with y'all. Man. I think I'll take the over.
You take the over. Okay.
Yeah,
So, okay. Yeah, so
I think Texas is gonna come out, try to make a statement for their first time in the SEC, and you just gotta hope Colorado pitches in something. So yeah, I'll take the over. What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go under. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, that 0.5. Yeah.
Look, that 0.5
it's gonna
kills
be 60.
me. It's gonna be hot out there. You know what I'm saying? And you always know week 1 is that type of like we're figuring out our offense, right? You shouldn't expect that all the cylinders should be rolling on offense. You shouldn't expect that everything is flowing in motion because they haven't played a real game yet. So I kind of look at it as a test drive, and once they get up by 25, 30, they're going to take out the starters. And of course, Texas does have a really good backup in Arch Manning. So that is a factor, I feel like. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be tough for them to score early. And once they start to score, it may be third quarter, second quarter, and time may be not on their side. But who knows? Colorado State may dice up this defense late in the fourth quarter when they're down by 40, and then put up 2 touchdowns out of nowhere. So who knows? But I'm going to go under for this first game of the year. But, man, we have a lot in store for y'all today. We're going to talk a little bit about Texas State, of course, because, like I said, they're playing too. They're going against Lamar, and a lot of expectations for Texas State. Someone actually had Texas State in their college football playoff prediction. Yes, D. They were the 12th seed in the college football playoff. Wow. So talk about expectations. Talk about rat poison, right? When it comes to the Bobcats. Don't want to hear that. Don't want to hear that at all. But respect to what GJ Kinney is building out there.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that.
Expectations.
Very high. We'll talk about that. And I also mentioned something that I've heard out in San Marcos. I got my sources out there, and they've been telling me some things that may intrigue you about that quarterback room, knowing that the reigning Sun Belt Player of the Year is in that room, by the way. But trust me, you're going to want to hear that. And also, we brought on Alex Okafor to talk about his former team, Texas versus Colorado State, get his insight about what he thought about that matchup, what he thinks about the different storylines between the defensive line, between the linebacking room, and also that secondary who's full of a bunch of guys from here in Austin, in Michael Taft, in Jade Barron, in Andrew Makuba. So we're going to get to hear from Okafor, who, by the way, is doing well in the community as well. He is a Pflugerville school board member. Shout out, making a difference in our community while also doing a lot of media stuff. So always got to respect Alex Okafor for what he's doing for the 512. But just initial thoughts about this matchup, though, Dion, after we talk about this Texas versus Colorado State game. I'm excited just to see the wide receivers, right? That's been a topic all offseason about who's going to be the guy, who's going to get the touches, who's going to get the targets, and no one really knows. It could be Isaiah Bond, a transfer from Alabama. Could be Silas Bowden. A lot of people love Silas Bowden. A lot of people have been talking about Silas from practice. He's about 5'8", 5'9", 160, soaking wet. But at the end of the day, he can get up there and get any contested catch. That's what people are saying. He can go up there and speed past you after a screen pass, or do a little option route. He can get past you that way too. So he can do a lot of things with the football, Dion, and I'm excited to see it with my own eyes. But of course, you got the guys who are already there in Jonte Cook and DeAndre Moore. Those guys are supposed to take a leap this year. And I can't forget about the kid from UH, Matthew Golden, coming over to the 40 acres as well. So a lot of different pieces, along with a true freshman, Ryan Wingo, who could be making a difference. Who's going to be on the field in critical downs? Who's going to be the red zone target? That's another question that needs to be answered come week 1. And maybe we don't get that answer week 1. Maybe we just get a taste of everything. But I think that's one storyline I'm looking out for. Anything else that you may be asking or wondering about for this matchup, Dion?
I mean, since you want to talk about the receivers, I would love to know about that running back room. I know they have some key injuries. Can you just give us an update on the gentlemen that are hurt? I know it's a deep, which I've learned is a deep running back room. But, I mean, I heard that they have some key injuries on that. So can you just give us an update on that?
Yeah. I mean, as usual, CJ Baxter's been out. He's out for the season, tore his ACL and LCL. We thought he tore his PCL, but he did not tear his PCL. He's just the LCL and the ACL. And then, of course, Christian Clark, the freshman out of Phoenix, he tore his Achilles. So they're both out for the season. But they did pick up a new transfer, running back, grad transfer, I should say, from SMU. And we talked to Coach about him. And Coach, yeah, dude. Welcome to the transfer portal. Welcome to the transfer portal, bro. Yeah, crazy how that works, right?
Jeez. Okay.
Week of the game. And so, crazy. Yeah, it's funny because we were talking to Coach Sarkisian this week, and he mentioned a lot of people hate the transfer portal, but I'm using it. He's like, I don't mind at all. So I'm gonna keep doing it, and you can just take it or leave it. Because a lot of people don't really like it, but a running back like this, man, he's just getting another body in, right? That's the whole point. And Velton Gardner, I'm sorry I took so long to get the name, but Velton Gardner, grad transfer from SMU. He also played in the Big 12 before going to SMU. And just another scat back type, able to catch the pass out the backfield. Definitely slim in size, so it kind of fits the play style of a Trey Wisner, fits the play style of a Ryan Niblett, who's already in that running back room. And Sark kind of just said it like, we just need bodies. That's what it felt like. It just felt like another body. So he's a guy that fits the scheme of the running backs that's already in that room. Mm-hmm. And I think they just needed someone during practice to kind of fill the gaps and give some people breathers. So I don't think we should expect Velton to touch the field anytime soon. Heck, man, he's trying to figure out what the signals are. Yeah, the signals. Who we playing this week? Yeah, exactly. No. So who knows how long it takes for us to see him on the field, if we see him at all. But at least they have another body in that running back room, so people don't get battered and bruised throughout practice. But yeah,
do you feel like that'll put more pressure on Quinn, or you think they're gonna go? Does that kind of flip it to now they're gonna go more pass heavy? If that wasn't the scheme already.
No, I think Sarkisian always wants to run the football, and he tells us all the time. And I love how he always brings this up, because it's low-key a flex, but it's like, all right, bro, we get it. He's always had a 1,000-yard rusher when he's been a head coach, always, every single year. And so he takes pride in that. And he really does want to have a 1,000-yard rusher every single year, because he feels like a balanced offense is what gets you to the promised land. And if you think about the days at Alabama, like, they were able to use dudes out the backfield, and able to use dudes like a Brian Robinson, who now is playing for the Washington Commanders, right? He was on the Alabama team who still threw the ball a lot with Jalen Hurts, with Tua, back in those days when Steve Sarkisian was there. And so, yes, dude, they're still going to run the football. And we spoke to Jaden Blue, who's now going to be kind of the lead back. It's not going to be a tandem no more. He's going to be the guy. And he mentioned that he put on 12 pounds, 12 or 16 pounds this summer, and just so he can run between the tackles, because the whole narrative last year was he's a speed guy, right? He had a bunch of speed. He's going to go outside the numbers. He's going to give you that passing threat. But now he's going to be called upon, with CJ Baxter being out, to run between the tackles. And so the question is, can he take that beating? Can he take that punishment for a whole season? We'll see. But he did put on weight to appease that, right? And so we'll get a little taste of it week 1 against Colorado State. Of course, it's not going to be the biggest test of the year, but it will be nice to see if he can be impactful between the tackles, in an A gap and a B gap, when he runs those inside zones, or if they're going to need to bring in another running back like a Jared Gibson, the freshman, and they'll have a little thicker, you know what I'm saying? Pause, but no, a little thicker. And
I was gonna let you rock.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But we'll see who's going to be the between the tackles guy, because that's been the biggest question. Will it be Jaden? Is he going to be able to do it? Is he going to be able to stay healthy while doing it? We'll see, but it's going to be on his shoulders for sure.
Got you. Early predictions. What you think Texas will do this season?
You know me, bro.
Of course you say the playoffs, but
I'm about to say, they're going to make the playoffs. I think for sure over 10, or 10 is the number for me. They don't go under 10. I think they'll definitely make the playoffs. I think they'll be in the top 8 in that playoff. Who knows if they get that first round bye, which, funny enough, I was talking to David Benda, starting linebacker for the Longhorns, if you don't know. But speaking to him about, like, what are the benefits, right? As you go into this whole playoff format, and as we all are playing NCAA, and we're getting a taste of that playoff ourselves while we're playing NCAA. But do you want the first round bye, or do you want the home game for that first round, which would be rocking? Which would be, can you imagine Mo Bamba playing during a playoff game at DKR. I got let me chill out. But yes, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would be a crazy atmosphere. But of course, you also want to rest. They need that
sure.
bye. That's what David was like. They was like, man, we may need that week to kind of rest our bodies, ice up, prepare for that next round matchup. So I think there is pros and cons to both, but the team is definitely going to be looking for that first round bye. To get it, though, they'll have to win the SEC. And so that means beating Georgia possibly twice to win that title, or beating Georgia and then beating Alabama in the SEC championship. Even though I think Ole Miss is a sleeper pick for this conference. I really like Ole Miss a lot this year. But we'll see what happens, because they have a couple injuries right now that I did not expect them to have this early in the season.
Yeah, it seems that injury bugs is passing its way around.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like, you hate to see it because there's so many great, talented players that are getting hurt. I mean, Texas A&M, they lost their starting running back as well. And so 2 guys in the same area, CJ Baxter, A&M's running back, like, you hate to see it being over before the season gets started. Right. I think that's the biggest thing for me. It's like, man, they didn't even get a shot to play week 1. And they've been training all summer. They've been lifting. They've been putting on weight. And it's just like, dang, all that work over the summers. Now you just got to rehab. And I wanted to talk to you, Dion, just about that, because like I mentioned, CJ Baxter tore his ACL and his LCL. Now, I know you didn't tear both, but you tore your ACL. Right. And so what was that recovery process like? And you said it took about 8 months, to feel like healthy again?
Yeah. So I know for me, I tore it in 2016, and I guess for everybody at that time, if you had an injury like that, you were looking at Anderson Peterson and like, yo, if bro could come back in 4 or 5 months.
He was freak though.
Yeah. But hey, he set the new standard. You know what I mean? When I tore my ACL before AP, you was looking at a 2-year thing of like, oh, you looked at it like an Achilles injury. And so when he did that, it kind of put that motivation. Okay, bet if I work hard enough, hopefully I got a little bit of AP genes in me or something. Maybe if I eat my spinach like Popeye, and I just work really hard, hey, I can come back in 4 or 5 months. I was working hard, doing everything I could, but I came back fully healthy. Like, I was cleared in about 8 months. So it's not fun. I know for, like I say, anybody, you're looking at AP as a standard and like, okay, if I tore it then 4 or 5 months from now, maybe I could come back this season. We'll see. You never know. When AP did it, we was like, is this guy crazy, or is he doing drugs?
Or is he a robot? Is he human?
Is he actually a human? And he came back and actually was like really still good. So, you just never know. But yeah, that was kind of like the bar and kind of what I was looking at during that time. Okay, bet maybe I could come back in a couple months and still be rocking. So
what about like mentally though, bro? Like mentally, when did it get to a point where you were not worrying about your knee anymore?
Honestly, when I got cleared, I went to the UTA gym and I started hooping. And so I think after a couple runs, it takes a couple times for you to get that confidence. Like, okay, bet I am good. But after a couple runs, when I went to go hoop, I felt fine. I felt normal. I'm not gonna lie. After the first time I hooped, though, I was in so much pain. I was in pain for sure. Not in like some, oh my gosh, I came back too early, but just you could just tell like, yeah, he's not, my knee's not, he's not used to this. It's been 8 months. He's not used to and I play kind of aggressive when I play basketball. Yeah. So I could tell he's like, yeah, he hasn't done this in a while. But I would say after you get cleared, probably a solid month afterwards, depending on what you do. So you play football, so it shouldn't take that long, especially if you got to think before you even get cleared. You start ramping it up little by little. So I would say a solid month.
That's going to be something to look out for CJ Baxter as he makes his return next year. How is his mental state, right? How is he able to take hits at that area, right? Because they're going to be going low. I mean, he's at the point now where he runs tall in the hole. He runs tall while he's just carrying the football. And so they're going to be getting at those knees and attacking those knees on the defensive end. And so that's something to look out for. And I can't wait to hear how he's able to get over that not only physical hurdle, but the mental hurdle in his mind. And talking about receiving hits, we have a guy who is giving out hits about to join us right now. Former Longhorn, NFL Super Bowl champion. He was on the national championship team for Texas back in 2009 as a freshman. He is a Pflugerville legend, now part of the school board out there. Alex Okafor joined us on the podcast to give us his insight about all things Texas versus Colorado State. Hope y'all enjoy our conversation. Oh, brother, got my guy, Alex Okafor. Bro, what's poppin'? Glad to see you. And of course, like, always got to say, Pflugerville representative now on the school board because got to show respect, put it on for the city. Ayo, how you doing, G?
Man, I'm doing well. Thank you. I appreciate you trying to get my titles right, man. I'm still trying to learn them myself.
Yeah, man. Big week one of college football. How does that sound to you, bro?
It's exciting. I feel like this has been the longest off season in college football that I can think of for a long time. Like, I feel like it's taken forever for the season to get around, but we here and I'm ready.
Yeah, and your alma mater, Texas, is playing Colorado State. They are 32-point favorites against the Rams. The over-under is at 60 right now. Deion, you gonna smack them around?
Jesus, that's a lot.
They gonna bring the belt out, huh? That's the vibe right now. But, you know, Alex, you've been in these situations before where you're big-time favorites heading into week one. You're trying to just get the offense going, trying to figure out what type of guys you got. You don't know a lot about your team until you actually play a game. You have an idea, but you never really know. And so just from your perspective, what do you want to see out of this team for week one, and what do you expect?
Yeah, more than anything, I just want us to play to our standard. Like, I don't care who we're playing this first game. I know it's against Colorado State, but it could have been against anybody. I just want us to show up and be who we are, and that's building off of last year, right? So that's us running the ball effectively, explosive plays in the pass game, stopping the run on defense, and hopefully this year we can bring that secondary around defensively.
Yeah, that's been the biggest storyline, right? That secondary, and I'm so intrigued with the Austin boys. I'm going to talk about this the whole season. You know, Makuba, Barron, and Michael Taft, they all trained together back in the good old days, I guess you could say, before COVID, and with Band Performance. Shout out Band Performance, by the way, for getting 3 guys starting for Texas. That's pretty dope. And so that secondary is supposed to be a lot better. But in our press conference earlier this week, Taft kind of mentioned, you know, the narrative around the secondary not being good. He was like, well, if someone takes a wide receiver screen 99 yards, that's on us. But the whole team missed a tackle. So are we really bad at tackling? Are we really bad secondary-wise? I think that's just more so we need to just tackle better as a group and not just secondary. So I thought that was funny how he tried to put some respect on the secondary's name when it comes to those passing yards allowed.
I was going to say, I'll give it to Taft, man. You got to stand up for your boys. And definitely, defensively, it's definitely a team stat. And I think last year, like, obviously we saw some holes in the secondary, but I thought they took too much of the blame when it came to our defensive inefficiencies. Truth be told, on the edges, you know, I felt like we weren't as explosive as we should have been off the edge. And that plays a part in the secondary. But kind of getting back to that room, them Austin, Texas boys, you forgot one name, and that's Blake Gideon. He's a part of that room as well. Yeah, so you got Blake Gideon, you got Andrew Makuba, Jade Barron, Michael Taft. Yeah, that room is special when you talk about Central Texas, specifically the greater Austin area. And I'm excited to see those boys show out. One thing I love is that each of them possess a different skill set, right? So like Jade Barron, you can play him on the line of scrimmage. Really, he's the guy that you plug in to cover up holes. He can play safety. He can play corner. You can put him on the line of scrimmage. He sets the tone with his physicality for the defense. So I like the way they kind of use Jade Barron. Then you got Michael Taft. You got a guy, you know, that's known as the brains behind the operation. But Michael Taft is an athlete himself, man. Go look at some of his plays. Go look at his highlight tape. He's out there making plays and picking boys off. So I'm ready for him to build on that as well. And last but not least, the new guy we got in the room, Andrew Makuba, he's a true defensive back. Like, he's a cover guy. And I think that's kind of what we've been missing in this safety room. So I'm excited to see kind of them take all 3 of those skill sets and mix it up and use them accordingly.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind for Taff and Makuba is rangy, right? They can get to the ball from deep spots in that secondary. And I was actually out at LBJ's practice, Austin LBJ, talking to Coach Rawls, the head coach out there. And I was like, bro, just tell me something about Makuba. Because I wasn't here yet in Austin when Makuba was at LBJ. And so I didn't get to see him play in high school. But coach is like, look, he may be a little undersized, but you don't feel it when he hits you. So he packs a punch too. Like he can cover, but apparently he gets in the box and lays some wood down. So yeah, I'm excited about that storyline. Any other storylines? You mentioned the edge not having a lot of pressure last year. I know that's another storyline that people are looking out for with Trey Moore coming around and Barron Terrell looking to take that next step. What storylines are you looking for in this team to be answered in week 1?
Yeah, let's stay with the defensive line. And not saying that the edges didn't get pressure or generate pressure last year. I just felt like we didn't have them big, explosive splash plays off the edge. Or we didn't have kind of a closer that you could lean on to finish the game off for somebody. I think we'll have that this year. Just Barron Terrell taking the next step. We've gotten 2 straight years of production from him. I'm ready to see how he goes out his senior year in his 3rd straight year starting. Then you got the new guy, Trey Moore, coming over from UTSA. I think he set the sack record for UT San Antonio. He's got a lot to prove. He's got to show that his game can translate from, I'm not going to say smaller ball, but not quite SEC football. So let's see how he translates to the SEC game. And then you kind of got the depth kicking in, the guys gnawing at the bit. I'm talking about the Ethan Burks, the Colton Vaseks, the Justice Finkleys. And then you got the superstar true freshman in Colin Simmons, who hopefully, I mean, I would love to see some big plays out of him, but hopefully we don't have to lean on him too much because we have so much depth back there. Hopefully we get to use him when we see fit. And those are the storylines on the line that I like to see. One more thing I want to take note of. I think Texas fans, last year, I think we took the run game for granted defensively. Like when you got Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy, you talking about a defensive tackle tandem. That's probably the best tandem we've had since Casey Hampton and Sean Big Baby Rogers, right? So anytime an opponent came into our stadium, that run game was dead. We didn't have to think twice about it. We know, scratch it off. We don't have to worry about this today. It's a new day and age in Texas. We just lost those boys. So we got to prove to ourselves again that we can stop the run, because if we can't, we're going to have a lot more issues defensively. So I'm excited. Those are the storylines that I'll be looking out for.
Alex, how do you, when it came to, beginning of the season and you're getting scheduled with teams like you're supposed to be putting belt to bottom to, how was your preparation? How did you stay locked in? Was it more of a chill week? Did you, were y'all trying to go hard at practice to kind of get because 32 points that's a lot. That's kind of that's a lot, man. What you say? You got them putting up 40?
Since this week, I got them putting up 40. 32 points is always a lot. You look at that Vegas spread, and it's just like, damn, this feels like a trap. But I think we're capable. Going back to the original question, the preparation it takes. Week 1 is not so crazy. No matter who you play, that excitement's going to be there. You're never going to really come out lackadaisical on week 1 unless you're Florida State. I don't get how that happens. But yes, you just that exciting. It was deserved. It was deserved. But no, like the excitement you've been building for this moment all off season. Like these guys aren't going to go out there week 1 and take these guys lightly or go out there and lay an egg. If anything, these guys are gnawing at the bit. When is that first sack going to come? When is that first touchdown going to come? Like these guys, they're like, how do I eat against Colorado State but stay within the scheme? Like, how do I put up a big stat line but stay within the scheme? I guarantee you these are the type of things that are going through the minds of the players.
On the stat pad, I like it.
You gotta pop the season off right, man. Imagine you playing defensive end, starting off with a 2-piece. That'd be amazing.
That's true. That's true. Well, when you talk about popping off, have you been seeing this? We talk about just the energy of people getting prepared for the season. Have you been seeing the HBCUs and it's not like us? Keeping on this beef, I guess you keep keeping the beef going. And what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Drake and K-Dot, man, they gave us an amazing offseason. Like I was locked in. I ain't seen a rap battle like this since 50 and Ja. Like this was crazy. And it's been fun watching people play off of the beef, and you know how he's tricking them into marching bands and all that type of stuff. Man, it's cool that they gave us a cultural moment. In terms of just how I've consumed it, man, I'm still a Drake guy. Like I've been a Kendrick fan. Wifey's from LA, so she's K-Dot to the core, and I like K-Dot, but I'm still rocking my boy Drake, man. Like what happened can't ignore the decades of music that he's put out. So that's where I stand.
You think day one we get Texas to give us a Not Like Us in the marching band, or you don't think that's in the rotation that they was practicing this summer? Or
put it like this: if Texas has been practicing Not Like Us, they got to save it for A&M. Like I don't want to see it against anybody but A&M. Like don't pull it out for nobody but A&M. That's what I would like to see it. And we're gonna be in we'll be in Kyle Field too. So let us win that game, and the band sends us off with Not Like Us. Ooh, that'll be a moment.
That'll be live.
Yeah.
I want to take you back to moments that you had in the locker room, though, Alex. Back in your days with these great football Texas team that you were on. Did y'all know? Because the guys talk about it. About how everyone's working together. There's a bunch of leaders on this team. There's not one or two voices. There's 20 to 30 voices that speak up about being leaders now. And this team is primed to be successful. So going back to your days, did you know some of those great teams before the season even started were going to be great? Or do y'all kind of figure that out as the season goes?
I think you have an idea, but you truly never know. I came in 2009. That was the national championship season where we lost to Alabama. And there was kind of a feeling that we would be dominant again. But that was because we were left out the national championship game the year before. We felt like we had something to prove. The following year after that 2009 season, we still felt like we was going to be a dominant team. And that was not the case. That was the 5-7 season. So that just to kind of answer your question, that goes to show it's hard to get a feel for these type of things. And honestly, if you are taking those type of projections in the off season, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure, man. As a team, you want to be able to grow week in and week out, and you want to focus on the mission at hand. So if you're in training camp, you need to be focusing on that day at training camp, not if we're going to be in the playoffs, whatever, so weeks down the line. I think when you start doing that, you set yourself up for failure, no matter how talented you are.
That's fair. Yeah, you don't want to look at the projections. I just didn't know if, like, in preseason or in fall camp, you're looking around like, man, we got some dogs. There's definitely conversations like that where you look to your left and you look to your right and you're like, man, we kind of loaded at this position, or this defense is stacked, or man, when we head into this season, there's no excuses for us. We got everything we need. So that's kind of the language that's being spoken in the offseason. It's not necessarily we got to make it to the playoffs this year, or we're going to be in the Natty this year. Like when you start talking like that, that's when, you kind of set yourself up for the unspeakable. What about your Chief team? Did you know that team was going to be great? Did you have an idea?
So surprisingly, I tell people all the time, I know it feels like the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl every single year, and technically they are, but I was part of that team that got the first one in 2020. Like we hadn't won one in 50 years when I got that first one. So to answer your question, that was not the conversation. Like the conversation that year was, I think we got enough. Like we got the talent. We didn't pick up some key pieces. Guys are developing, but we still got to go out there and prove it. Like Andy Reid, he was on the hot seat. Like for the longest, people were talking about Big Red not being able to get over the hump, not being able to win the big one. So yeah, it's crazy how the narrative of the Chiefs and Andy Reid has changed because of all these Super Bowls, which rightfully so. But about 5 years ago, those type of conversations weren't happening.
This weekend, week 1, college football, so excited. Any other match? I know you're going to be tuning to Texas, but any other matchup that you're excited to see this weekend?
Yeah, I want to see. I'm gonna be looking at Georgia. Not that I'm looking ahead of the schedule, but that's top dog. Whenever you top dog, you got a target on your back. So I'm gonna see how they look this weekend. Colorado, gotta tune in. Like I feel like last year, that first half of college football, Colorado gave us some moments, man. Like it was last year was incredible.
No joke though, bro.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna be locked in, man. I'm gonna be locked in. Now I hope that game starts on time and it's not like a 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. game, because a couple of those games.
Yeah, I hope it's not like last year, because them midnight, 1 o'clock.
I'm rubbing my eyes trying to stay open for the fourth quarter.
Like, luckily the games was like really competitive, but it's like it's 1 a.m. Why are we?
That Arizona game comes to mind, bro. The Arizona game was long, bro. The Colorado State game last year, right? Wasn't that one late too?
Yeah, I think that one.
That was really late.
And it was like back-to-back weekends. It was like 2 or 3 back-to-back weekends where I'm catching myself up watching football at, like you said, 1, 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, jeez, bro.
I love the game, but I love sleep too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But no, but those are a couple of the teams that I'll be following. Definitely Georgia, definitely Colorado, and then I pick up a couple favorites throughout the season.
Yeah, Georgia's going against Austin's own Cade Klubnik out there in Clemson, Westlake alum, and so a lot of people they're not talking about Clemson. And I get it; they're not using the transfer portal. Dabo's still doing the whole old school type thing, but man, I mean, not too long ago, they were powerhouses in a national conversation, and so let's see if they can shake some things up week 1. That'd be crazy if they can knock off the Dogs in week 1. But
that'll be
anything else?
Last question, Alex. Are you a fantasy football guy or no?
So I just recently became a fantasy football guy. I played my first season ever last year, and I stunk. So I'm out for revenge this year. I'm out for revenge, baby.
So
you didn't get last, did you?
I got second to last, and I did everything in me not to get last. It took everything I had not to get last.
So since you're a player, what was your mentality when you were drafting your team? Was it like, oh, I know this guy's good, or and you end up being a stinker? Like, what was your thought process during your first fantasy season?
Yeah, so that's what I learned the hard way, that like actual in real life knowledge of the game does not translate to fantasy football. It doesn't matter. Like, so when I was picking my team last year, I'm picking guys that are practical. I'm like, okay, he's a dog. Like, I played against him. I know he's going to do something. And then whenever the season starts, I see guys, not that they're not good players, but I see guys that are like middle of the pack guys putting up crazy stat lines in fantasy. And I'm like, oh, so this is what I was missing. Like, I didn't account for QB rushing yards. I didn't account for I didn't account for a stat line like 7 catches for 65 yards being a better stat line in fantasy than 4 catches for 80-something yards. I'm like, how does that make sense? Yeah. So now that I kind of got the gist of the scoring system, I'm out for blood.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear, baby. Yes, sir. That PPR you're right though. That PPR changed a lot of things. That points per reception. Like if you got a possession receiver that just wants to catch a bunch,
Adam
I
Thielen,
think
baby.
Thielen is a prime example.
Adam Thielen, baby.
Right,
no yards, but 9 catches.
Bro, I'm pissed. I'm pissed because Adam Thielen is scoring way more fantasy points than a guy like DK Metcalf. I'm like, what's going on, bro? like it makes no sense. But hey, I learned quick and I'm ready this season.
Well, that's good though. You see it from a fan's perspective when people, oh my God, you hurt my fantasy team. Now you see like, oh, okay, bro. Like, what's up, bro?
Right.
Last one for you, Alex, and I'll let you go, man. I've been asking all the Texas players this, and now that I have you in front of me, like I want to ask you this as well. Game day. What was your favorite part about game day outside of playing, of course, but like the theatrics at DKR? Was it? The fan, of course, a lot of people say running out the tunnel and the smoke. Like, what was your favorite part about game day?
Yeah, I think when it comes, running out the smoke is a special moment. So I think that's up there universally as one of the memorable moments. But for me personally, it was the night before the game, like the camaraderie that goes into it the night before the game. So I like going to a hotel with the team, being able to block out the noise, like only us in the hotel, nobody else, like building that team chemistry. Going to the movies the night before, like that was a ritual for us. The coach used to always take us to the movies the night before the game. Watching new movies with your teammates, going through meals, just the preparation involved the night before is, to me, the most memorable part and probably the part that I miss the most.
That's awesome, bro. I didn't know y'all did all that.
Yeah.
Every week y'all watch the movie?
Well, yeah, I don't know how it is now, but Coach Brown, every week, like the Friday before the game, after classes and whatnot, we travel to the city wherever we were at. If we stayed in town, then we go straight to the hotel. But we'd rent out a whole hotel, block out floors for us, have meetings there. Then we take a bus after dinner to the movies. We catch the newest movie, then come back, get some rest, and get ready for the next day. So it was a fun experience. Yeah.
That's awesome. Coach Brown just had a birthday the other day.
I saw that, man. He's still going strong.
Hey, he still be lurking. bro, look, check this. He be liking some of my tweets, and I'm like, bro, you're not involved with this program anymore. But he loves Burnt Orange still, man. I think he's still watching. He's looking from afar.
He is. He stays connected, man. I'll say this, CDC, man. Hey, hold that seat down, because like you say, Coach Brown stays lurking.
Yeah, he watches.
He does, man. He does.
I know we all be watching on Saturday as Texas takes on Colorado State at DKR. 100th year anniversary, by the way, for DKR Stadium. Shout out. They're going to have little patches on the field to commemorate that. And, yeah, dude, can't wait for week 1 to kick off on Saturday. But thank you so much, Alex, for joining us. As always, man, you're just such a light, and you continue to help us out, get more insight, and give us your knowledge. I just thank you every time you hop on.
I appreciate that, man. Y'all are climbing up there as one of my favorite podcast interviews. So, hey, keep bringing me back, please.
Yeah, all right, who we behind?
We got to get you in our fantasy.
Now you put me on the spot.
You good. And no, I don't need no one else taking my money, Dion. He don't need to be in my fantasy league. All right,
well, look,
losing money.
Like he said, he's not the best, so that's what I'm
saying. I was going to say, Dion's trying to eat off me.
Nah, trust me. It's not I'm not good. I tried. Okay. I thought last year was my year, but nah.
Man, Okafor is always great, bro. Like, he always packs a punch. He always got insight, but he also got little jokes, too, on the side, man. I see why they voted him out here in Pflugerville to get that school board position. He's a guy I would follow, right? Yeah.
For sure.
What'd you like from that, bro?
Man, I just loved hearing him become a regular person, man. He's fiending for this fantasy football, man. It's good to see these athletes. Like, oh man, they don't, he didn't used to understand when people used to be like, yo, you messed up my fantasy team, yo. Now he hooked. I can hear it in his voice. He hooked, like, damn. Yeah, I see what y'all was talking about. Like, this dude supposed to be nice, but he giving me at mid-weeks fantasy-wise. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's good to see, these people that have been on this pedestal since they was in middle school, high school, college. And now you're doing regular people stuff, man. You're a fantasy football player. Man, that's just great to see. What about you, Cory?
Hey, man, he a fan. You know what I'm saying? Freaky.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Whoa,
yeah,
wait.
my bad.
What?
Let me chill out.
I don't know how you went there, but okay.
Bro, what you mean? You said he a fan of... Okay, anyway. Wow. Yeah, so what I took away, bro, on the football side of things, right? He mentioned that pass rush, and that's something, of course, like him being a former defensive end, he's going to pay attention to. And so that was a big question last year. Who's going to provide pressure, right, when it comes to this defensive line? They got a lot of pressure through, of course, blitzes with PK running the shots, and that's why Anthony Hill he ended up having five sacks last season, second on the team, just because they blitz him off the edge. And so can the defense get pressure just by their defensive line? That's what I'll be looking out for. That's a storyline I'm excited to see. He mentioned Trey Moore being a guy. Of course, Baron Sorrell. He was actually on, speaking about freaks, Baron Sorrell. He was on this. Look. Let me finish. Baron Sorrell was on a top freak list that someone put out just by body type, by what they look like. And yeah, he's a freak of nature for sure. So Baron Sorrell, Ethan Burke, Colin Simmons is going to be a guy that I can't wait to see. Alex Okafor mentioned him from Duncanville. And there's going to be a package where you have Colin, Anthony Hill Jr., and Trey Moore on the field at the same time attacking the quarterback. Can't wait to see that. That's going to be amazing. But I also can't wait to see what Texas State does this year, because that's what all the talk is about down in San Marcos. A lot of expectations. Honestly, the biggest expectations that they've had in nearly a decade, it feels like, at least from what I've been hearing, and maybe the biggest expectations in 2 decades, 3 decades. ever, right? Talking about making a college football playoff is crazy. Or is it? Or is it, Dion? That's the question. Well, we'll get a taste of that as they play against Lamar this Saturday. They're 31.5-point favorites, D. Is that correct?
31.5, man. That 0.5.
All right. So Texas is 32. So they think they're going to whop them just like Texas is going to whop them.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. That offensive line, though, Dion, is something that I think that's something we should all be looking out for Texas State. You have the quarterback. You have the running back in Ishmael Mahdi, who's going to be sensational, maybe up there in all-purpose yards in the nation, just like he was last year. He led the nation all-purpose yards. And so you have these weapons. Can you block? That's the question. And there's a lot of starting positions that are still in battle heading into week 1 on that offensive line. So who's going to step up and take control of the left tackle, the left guard, the right guard position that have questions about who's going to be the starter this year? They got to get those answered before they play UTSA next week, because that's a big time matchup. But I wanted to mention something that I relayed to earlier in the podcast about what I've been hearing out there in San Marcos with the quarterback room. Right, Dion? Everyone's talking about Jordan McLeod. Everyone's giving him praise, as he should be. Transfer from James Madison, who's a reigning Sun Belt Player of the Year. He's the leader of the team. That's what it seems like. But what I've been hearing, right? Sources say, RJ Martinez, backup quarterback from Westwood out here in Austin. He went to Northern Arizona back in the day, and then he also transferred after going crazy at Northern Arizona. He went to Baylor. Out there in Waco, he was a backup quarterback. He started, I think, 1 or 2 games last year for the Baylor Bears, and now he's at Texas State, transferring over there to join G.J. Kinney. And people say he's been outperforming Jordan McLeod in practice, doing better than Jordan McLeod at practice consistently. And so, of course, Jordan McLeod is the big name, right? Like I said, reigning Player of the Year in the conference. You bring all this NIL money to get him here after that whole debacle that we covered, at the quarterback situation. How are they going to remove themselves from the former quarterback that was committed here, that we should not say his name? But they were able to appease the masses, get Jordan McLeod here with a lot of money. And so he is the guy. But what if he struggles against UTSA? What if he struggles against Lamar on Saturday? Who knows? RJ Martinez apparently has been playing really well in practice. He has the pedigree. He's played in the Big 12 at Baylor. He played in Northern Arizona and had over 5,000, 6,000 yards passing. I think 7,000 yards, to be honest. I'm being honest. But a quick note, Dion, I thought this was really fun to research and figure out. While RJ Martinez was at Northern Arizona, they beat Arizona, U of A. In that game, do you know who played quarterback for the University of Arizona? Jordan McLeod, the guy that he's now backup of. So it's crazy how the lives, and that was like 3 years ago. Crazy how lives kind of go throughout their ways. And of course, since then, Jordan McLeod became the guy at James Madison. Like I said, was all that in a bag of chips last year. And RJ Martinez bounced to Baylor, and now he kind of realized the writing on the wall, and he kind of lowered down to the division and Sun Belt and came to Texas State. So 2 totally different trajectories since that game. But Northern Arizona won that game against Arizona. And RJ Martinez got the last laugh over Jordan McLeod when they played each other head to head. Will he get the last laugh now in competition for that quarterback spot? We'll see. But anyways, I can't wait for that all to play out. Like, that's just what the streets are saying.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you hinting at we could possibly see a benching over there?
That's what the streets are saying, right? Wow. And it's not really a benching. It's more so, I think, from what my sources are telling me, RJ Martinez is playing better. And so the coaching staff just can't give him the job because they spent so much time, resources, and money on Jordan McLeod to be the guy. But if Jordan McLeod proves not to be, if he does make a couple stumbles here and there, they're going to consider putting in the guy who's been playing well in practice. And Coach G.J. Kinney did say in a press conference earlier this week that RJ will play this Saturday against Lamar. How much will he play? That's the question. But for him to come out and say, yeah, he's going to play for sure, I think that says a lot about what I'm hearing over in San Marcos. And that's something that Coach Sarkisian didn't put his stamp on. Because we asked Coach Sark, is Archie Manning going to play? Is his backup? You know what he said? We'll see. course. It's like, okay, bro, like just give us a real answer. Like you don't got to play the fiddle. Like, come on, bro. But that's a prime example though, right? Like GJ Kinney went out and just put his stamp on it, put his name on it. Like, yeah, he's going to play. Arch, on the other hand, he will play. Everyone knows Arch is going to play. But Coach Sark didn't want to say that. So I think there's writing on the walls for what I've been hearing in San Marcos. And look, I'm gonna just be watching and see how everything plays out down there for the Bobcats. But as we close up this pod, what's been on your mind, Dion? What's something that you want to do a final take for, final thoughts for? What's been bugging you?
Final thoughts to all our people going back to school. I mean, it's sickening seeing high schoolers back to school content. But for my people that's going to college, the fellas out there, just be mindful, man. Don't get mesmerized by the strolls. Them girls do not
What
want
you mean by strolls? Elaborate.
Them girls in the sororities, when
Okay.
they have their little stroll offs, and maybe she giving you a little look while she doing the little hand signs and shoulders, and she got the fit on, she got these colors on, and you thinking, she want me. She don't want you, bro. Just take it as a compliment. Hey, she looked at me, and keep it moving. I'm telling you.
Okay.
There's a lot of y'all that's gonna be embarrassed. Oh, I'm finna go talk to her, bro.
That's great advice. Y'all better be locking in. Dion's giving you great advice.
Yeah,
Not
them
gonna lie to
sorority
you.
girls. Yeah, just look, but stay focused, my brother. You have to stay focused.
And that's for the black and white sororities. If I'm being honest, you know what I'm saying? White
Yeah.
sororities, they don't stroll or nothing, but they'll look at you.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's true.
don't
fall.
don't
for
do it.
Don't fall.
Don't
for
do it. Don't do it.
Have a good time, but the sororities, just be mindful. Be mindful. Well, what about you, Cory?
Final thoughts, man. You're hilarious, by the way, Dion. I don't know everyone.
Just trying to protect them brothers, man, because it's easy to think, oh man, bro, first week out here. Oh, she looked at me at the stroll off. Oh man, it's going down. I'm finna go talk to her.
Nah, don't do it.
Excuse me, I was just strolling.
Yeah, my bad. I'm not really interested in you. I got a homie that's watching me. You know, he got the car already started.
Yeah.
I'll be leaving with him tonight. But anyways, my final thoughts is something that I think I've talked to Dion about this. But let's talk about the Cowboys, right? Congrats to the Cowboys. First off, I gotta give props to Jerry Jones. He got the contract done. Finally signed CeeDee Lamb, second largest contract per year for the wide receiver market. Of course, $1 million behind Justin Jefferson, but he still get $100 million guaranteed. Dion, what do you do with that type of bread? Like, I just don't understand.
You gotta go compete with Isaiah Hardenstein.
I know, right? Ain't that crazy? NBA money compared to NFL money. My son will be hooping. My son will be picking up a basketball and dribbling. He would not be taking hits for sure.
Basketball or soccer.
Yeah. But yes, Jerry Jones got the job done. Finally signed CeeDee Lamb. And also today, we're recording this podcast on Wednesday afternoon. Dalvin Cook added another body to the running back room. Everyone's wondering who's going to be the running back this year. Of course, it still may be a committee. Dalvin Cook's not going to be like the premier back. But now you add another voice. Now you add another body. Who is going to take control of that room? Some people say Rico Dowdle. Some people say Zeke may still have a little bit left in the tank. I know Dion hates that take. Or
Hey.
Dalvin Cook.
Cowboys are my favorite team. So
Oh, yeah. They're America's team, so it has to be your favorite team. But, yeah, my final thoughts are just basically this whole Jerry Jones and Dak situation now. Because that's still on the table. That's still getting talked about, and it's still not done as we are now a week away from week 1 of the season. And so I'm a proponent of saying Jerry Jones is in a sensational situation when it comes to the business side of things. And it's like, Dak played phenomenal last year. That's his leverage. He was runner-up in the MVP voting. And so he's going to be leaning on that in contract negotiations. So if Jerry doesn't pay him and they go throughout this year and Dak makes it to the playoffs, then Dak makes it to the second round, but then they get bounced again in the second round like they've been doing for the past 2 decades, Jerry Jones won. He won the leverage. He waited it out. He didn't pay Dak, and now his value has went down. Or Dak does play well. Dak does have the same type of season as he had last year as a runner-up MVP. goes to the playoffs, gets past the second round, low key, gets past the NFC Championship game, makes the Super Bowl. Guess what? Jerry still wins. Jerry still wins. He hasn't seen a Super Bowl with his own eyes since he had hair. That wasn't great. So I think that's the situation that Jerry Jones is in business-wise. Is like, if Dak plays well, great. We go to a new height that we haven't seen in decades. If Dak plays mediocre, great. I get to pay him less money. I think that's the situation that he's in, and he's okay with not paying Dak until the end of the year. I know Dak would like to get paid, though, right now. I'm sure he does. But maybe he goes out there, he proves it, he gets a bigger deal. And think about this, Dion. Last year's big fish in the pond for quarterbacks in the free agent market, do you know who that was? He's in Atlanta right now. Kirk O'Change. Well, I should say Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm saying? Coming off a torn Achilles, he still got top dollar, $180 million, Dion. And that's off an injury. Imagine what Dak is going to get in the market if he's able to get there in free agency, healthy, after a decent season. If they paid Kirko $160 million, $180 million, how much you think Dak's going to get? And I think that's where his camp is looking at it like, okay, bet. If he doesn't pay us this year, we'll wait. We'll go into free agency, and we'll go to Las Vegas and get that bread. So that's my final thoughts. I just think that's the situation in Dallas right now. Both sides have leverage, but then both sides also have a solution for it. The other not making any deal anytime soon. And so can't wait to see the Cowboys always, but you know, I really can't see CJ Stroud and them boys, you know what I'm saying, out in H-Town. They about to go crazy this year.
I can't wait to see the Cowboys with Trey Lance. That's going to be...
Here you go, bro.
What? I can't wait to see it. It's going to be great football to watch, man.
Nah, you know what's going to happen?
What?
Dak going to walk. They're going to draft Shedeur Sanders. They're going to hire Deion Sanders to be a head coach.
It's time to end the pod. It's time to end the pod.
You don't like that, bro? You don't like that?
On America's team?
Bro,
He gonna bring in two brothers? Come on, man. He couldn't handle T.O.
It's prime.
You think he gonna handle when he start doing this?
Bro, it's prime.
Come on, bro.
It's his bro. Deion is a Cowboy legend.
Jerry couldn't handle Terrell Owens.
Yeah.
There's no way he's gonna handle Shedeur. And
hey,
this.
perfect timing. Perfect timing. Hey, by the way, shout out Shedeur Sanders. He got a new deal with Nike. He's now an official Nike athlete. Kid's just making bread, bro. I get it. His dad's Deion, but he also has to do what he has to do on the field to get these sponsorships. So shout out Shedeur Sanders. His song still sucks, though, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyways, we are done talking about this pod, though. So thank you so much. As always, Deion, how we get out of here?
We hope you enjoyed that episode. Stay up to date with Mose Knows by subscribing to Cory Mose on YouTube or simply searching Mose Knows on Spotify or Apple Music. Thanks for listening and have a great week.